Hello and welcome to episode 2 of our Timberborn update for modded Let's Play with the Folktales faction. Last time we got things off to a very nice start with our main island here. And got some crops growing, got some trees growing, and made ourselves a little tiny, not very good reservoir, but a reservoir nonetheless. Today, one of our main goals is going to be to start damming up all of these little outlets here. Probably won't get to do all of those, but there is a pretty good amount of water we can store up in the event of the next drought, which probably won't be for another at least 10 in-game days, I'm thinking. So we'll see what happens there. We have some additional tree collection happening right here with all these birches, and we are in the process currently of getting all of our water back up after we did not have enough pumped out during the drought. So, goals today outside of damming all of this up are going to be to continue expanding, growing, get some more beavers in here, and start moving to some of these other islands, because we have a couple of pretty easily accessible spots here. I don't think it would be too difficult to get to this island, especially because of the trees and the berries we can harvest and make good use of. And then I don't know if we want to get all the way up here just quite yet, but there are plenty of trees to be had over here. And this area could be good for some farming, depending on how we want to treat this as well. Plenty of depth here, well, 2 deep instead of 1. This is not a very, shall we say, height dynamic map in this area. On that side, yes, absolutely, where all this comes in. I think we can make good use of this height to do some interesting building stuff, but that is much, much later. Right now we have just one open bed. We want to keep building housing because, remember, the folktales reproduce by having empty beds. Well, I guess that's how probably most things work. But the Iron Teeth, specifically in this game, don't do that. They have the berries, which we're used to from the past, I don't know, 4 Let's Play series. So it's going to take a little bit of getting used to have to actually stay ahead of the curve on housing if you want to increase the population. So we're going to make an intentional effort, I guess you could say, in that regard. We do have science, but we don't have enough science to unlock the double and triple lodges yet. So we'll just keep on building these same things right here. We'll just have to decide exactly how we want to go about that, because there's a couple different ways. But for the time being, I think it's probably fine for us to just keep on expanding out this same way. Going to try and group the entryways together here. I think we'll just keep this guy maybe not right here, because that's going to block off some of our access to stuff. But I think we can probably just start off with those 2 right there. And the way that we've built things here, it's not actually the best example of how to construct things. But what this does do is this gives us a few spots to put some well-being things in. Like we have our teeth grindstones, we have medical beds, we have shrines, all things we haven't unlocked yet. Well, the teeth grindstone, we do have one. It is out here, but in due time this would be a great place to put other things, or even just plant some trees for decoration. But let's be honest, these are going to get demolished before too long anyway, and we'll turn them into other stuff to make a little bit more aesthetically pleasing design decisions. But one thing we absolutely have to do is get better at water pumping, and I think part of the problem is we just have our beavers interested in doing other stuff. So for right now, actually, if nobody's in here, I'm going to pause both of those. That'll help us fill other things. Our forester should probably also be a lower priority job because, well, the trees are pretty much all planted. I mean, there's this one that hasn't been. But that will allow us to make sure that we have jobs filled elsewhere. And especially when it comes to stuff like tree harvesting. Which, by the way, we'll go ahead and add another. I'm going to have to get used to this 2-step pathing stuff here. Let another one of these guys right here. Let them harvest some additional trees. And we're going to go ahead and start the process of damming all these things up. Now, eventually we're going to want to have this set up to where it's probably more than one tile deep. But for right now, I don't think that's going to matter. So I'm going to have just 2 dams in the middle, levees on the outside because, well, the water outflow probably isn't going to get that strong, and it saves a little bit of wood while we are in the process of constructing these things. So we'll just do the same thing on all of these. These 2 chosen because it's going to be the shortest path for beavers to get here. And then finally, this one right here, we might go 3 in the middle because it's so wide. There we go. And that should keep our overflow nicely regulated in this area. And eventually push some stuff over into this direction with regard to the outflow. But we probably aren't going to want to let all of this go quite all the way out there. I think for the time being, we're going to want to actually push the water out through this way so this fills up a little bit better. But we'll see how fast they can actually build this stuff, because it's probably going to take a while. We do still have a very small population. But getting this started, at least, will be a big help. So we still have 1 vacant job. These guys are still pretty thirsty. So I think we're going to go ahead and start by lengthening our working hours to 18. I know it's the folktales, that's not really what they're about, but it is still early, and people, well, beavers, I guess in this instance, sometimes are willing to make some sacrifices for the betterment of other people. Or beavers, in this instance. But yeah, we'll let them do what they need to do, and we will go ahead and push our path out further this way. See what we can get ourselves into. So we are going to have a staircase in this general area. I think right here is probably going to be about as good as we're going to get. I'm not going to be worried about saving the berries because we quite literally do not need them. That is going to be something that I'm not going to feel bad about at all. So we'll just make sure these guys can get to what they need to get to. And I think we can go ahead and go into turbo mode and begin constructing or deconstructing with great haste as the situation warrants. We'll extend our path out this way. Same over here. Should allow them to build all of this stuff. I'm so glad I don't have to have 3 other districts to do this now. Even if it is going to take these guys 800 years to get it done, it's going to be very, very nice to have the option and not really stress out about it too bad. Now that we have 7 occupied beds, we should see some more baby beavers start to come up pretty soon. And let's take a quick look at our well-being. Obviously, the food stuff is just completely barren because we haven't really started growing too much other stuff yet. But they are making good use of the campfire. And as we start to get some more science in, we can start unlocking some of these aesthetic items and other fun stuff like that. But I do think it's probably a good idea for us to start diversifying our food supply. So to that end, I believe probably would be smart for us to divest a little bit from carrots. I'll plant some more carrots here, but I'm going to unplant all of these. These are going to start being potatoes, because that's going to be the next easy thing for us to get into. It doesn't require any power, and they last a lot longer. But the reason we haven't planted those yet, of course, is because I'm not confident we can actually store enough water in here to keep these hydrated during a drought, and the potatoes, I believe, do die very fast from my experience. So now what we got to do is got to just let them build all of this stuff, and hopefully it ends up working out. Normally, you would build some sort of a storage near the workplace to get this done, but there's currently water there, so we couldn't use it anyway. And we also don't have haulers, so that really wouldn't do that much right now. But even so, it's day 4, and we're already well into the process of getting at least this one done. And that is a good and valuable use of our time and resources, because it will help us much later on. And that's good. That's what it's all about. We are actually neutral on vacancies versus unemployment, which is fantastic. this guy starts growing up, we'll have an extra job slot we can take advantage of, and then, of course, they'll make additional ones. If they're not starving or dehydrated, that is. We got a little while to go to take care of some of that stuff. And one of the things that is going to be kind of an issue is our beavers that are coming all the way down here are going to be hungry and thirsty. So probably would be a smart idea for us to at least temporarily put in some storage near here where they can take care of their needs. So we'll just prioritize those real quick. I don't think we need to have any sort of housing over here. But it, probably wouldn't be the worst idea. Obviously, we can't build it down in the water. If the building's entrance is flooded, of course, they won't be able to use it. But yeah, them having to go all the way over here to get a drink and then go to sleep is probably not the most ideal scenario, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. But hey, look at this. Day 5, and this one is almost done. And then, of course, they have to do all of this, which is going to take a lot longer of a time. But it's progress, and progress is fun. Now we are going to start running into an interesting problem here too because of the depth of everything here. This is height 2, this is height 2, this is height 1. So all of the extra water is going to want to come over into this area. Fortunately, it has to go a lot further to get to all these outlets, but look at all this. This is all going to have to be plugged, and that's going to take a really, really long time. But fortunately for us, we don't have to worry about that quite yet. Look at that. Look how nice this looks with the Folktales wood color. It's got a lot more warmth to it, like a, not quite a honey oak, I almost said flavor. Not quite a honey oak texture, but it's a lot more of a golden vibe than some of the other things. Now, is this... Oh, it's too far, so they're actually going to build with this one first. Huh. Okay, well, I guess that's fine. We'll let them build this, and then I guess we'll have this come in, because this is further away, and having that done sooner, I think, would be quite a bit better. Alright, so seeing how this works, I'm going to go ahead and just put in a lodge right here, because I think we're probably going to need it. And I don't think there's a way we can influence beavers to live in a specific spot. Unless we're extremely smart and talented. I don't know. We'll see. Might not be an official way to do it. That doesn't mean it can't be done. So these guys hard at work taking care of all of the resources here. They're still set to harvesting. I'm going to set that back to planting, just because we currently do have a decent amount of food stored, even if most of it is berries. So we'll want to make sure that we're not getting too narrow focused on any one thing. Like, look at this poor guy, going all the way back. Yeah, and now he's exhausted. He's got to go to bed, which is why they don't want you to do what I'm currently doing. But it's going to be for the betterment of everything. And I think it's going to be worth it. We just have to actually get this all finished up. Alright, so what building is actually lacking workers to the point that they're complaining about it? I guess somebody died of old age. That's probably why. Water storage is actually full, which I think we're going to want to keep expanding. Obviously, it's not ideal to not have the larger sizes of storage, but there's not much we can do about that right now. We've got quite a bit of growth before we can even entertain the idea of doing that. And speaking of, we're going to need to start thinking about other storages for other types of food as these things start growing, and maybe even a second farmhouse, but we're not really quite there yet. We're in the process of getting all of this finished up. And it's going to take quite a while for these guys to get all that stuff done. And I'm glad now that we have this storage here, because that is definitely something that is going to become a problem. Yeah, well, let's get this lodge built so we can at least try to have some of these beavers in a spot where they can, you know, take a rest without having to go quite so far back. Now, what I'm really interested is seeing if we can get this to fill up any more at all. And I think probably the easiest way to do that would be to just build an entire levee across here, which we honestly might end up doing. But I don't know that that's really going to end up being that possible without having all of these dammed up, which is why, again, we're wanting to do this so early. And this very well could be a thing that is going to continue through cycle 4 and maybe even 5 to get these two plus maybe these two. I might end up just putting a levee across here temporarily so we can make sure we're not completely wasting our time. But we'll see. It's just going to depend. Stuff takes a really long time, and it's not always possible to do everything you want to do. That's okay. But if you can at least try, it's usually the best option. Alright, now look at these guys. We got the big old trees coming in. These chestnut trees. Some of these, remember, we're not harvesting because we want to be able to get chestnuts from them, which are these 3 rows right here. But these are happily being cut down for our use for wood. We've got some unemployed beavers. So let's see. The better use would probably be, I don't think we have, oh, we can build a hauling post. We actually probably should have already had one of those. Let's do that. Let's put this right here in the middle. We are going to, I don't know where these other planks went. Oh, that's because I built the stairs. That's right. So let's do that. I'm going to very quickly get another plank churned out. And then, even if we just keep one beaver in the hauling post, I think that's going to be pretty beneficial for everybody involved. All right, let's pause these guys now that we have all of those set up. We do have this lodge taken care of. Let's prioritize the hauling post. I know I'm kind of going against what I was saying earlier by putting stuff in front of the hauling post, or in front of this via the hauling post. But remember, hauling post is going to help us actually supply stuff a lot quicker, even if it means that we don't get all of this done before the drought, which, let's be honest, we're never going to. We do have a good amount of logs, which is nice. And I think I'm going to go ahead, even if we're not going to build it quite yet, I am going to go ahead and set our levees over here, because what that's going to do is it's going to stop water from going out this way quite so much, and it'll have to come out around this way. Now, I know that's going to cause some other problems, potentially, like having this entire side of the map not be irrigated, but we have a solution for that. It's called a water dump that we can research if we get to that point. Fortunately, the trees and the bushes are pretty hardy. They will last a drought without having to worry about anything. But the ultimate goal here, of course, is to actually have all of this, well, usable. And I think we're going to want to put a dam piece in at least one side of this levee, and maybe one side of these. Right here in the middle actually might be smart. So I guess I'll turn that one into a dam, because we do want some water to be able to get through, of course. There's our drought warning. Yeah, they'll probably finish this one, if I had to hazard a guess. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we just need the one. Thank you for not completely dominating everything. Alright, so if we have the drought warning here, I know I keep putting stuff in front of everything else, but water storage is very important. So let's make no mistake about that. Get these potatoes set up here. They should, oh, these are almost done, which means, of course, we got to put in a grill, which again is going to invite the criticism of, why did you build this when you said you weren't going to? But you know what? We're fine. This is normal difficulty. We're not going to be in trouble here. But the water storage we absolutely need. So let's see what our hauler guy does when he gets up in the morning. Where he takes stuff. Because I'm very, very curious to see what he's going to get up to. Looks like he's taking water out of the pumps. Perfect. So I want to see if he's going to be supplying building sites. Oh, the thing, screen cap utility that I just put in is not, there we go, not completely following him when it takes the screenshot, because I guess it defocuses the mouse or something. Look at him go. That's your MVP right there. It's very, very valuable. Making a good use of, well, his time and hauling abilities. That's one thing for sure. Alright, so we can rest assured that he is making the most of everything. These guys are getting pretty close to... Well, they still have these two. I don't know if they're going to get that finished. But... Oh, are they all done? Okay, well, let's get rid of that in that case, and then we'll have some extra beavers. We'll send them to the hauling post and see if they can start moving some construction materials around, because... Oh, look at this poor guy. He's hungry. His only knowledge in this world is take logs to levy construction site. Alright, so these guys, yeah, there's a flurry of activity over here. They're taking logs back and forth, and they're moving water, they're moving food. Yeah, this stuff is looking nice. We are getting stuff done, folks. Except we have some dehydrated beavers because they're out here doing these crazy construction projects they didn't ask for. They'll be okay. Yeah, so it looks like we're just going to get this one done. Barely under the wire. So what I'm going to say about that is this is going to have to be closed, I believe. I think the water is still going to keep flowing for a decent bit. But we will go ahead and close it as soon as the drought starts. 4 days. Alright, so that is now up. This water is not going to last the full length of the drought. I'm just hoping that it lasts long enough to where the potatoes don't dry out. Carrots, I think I'd be fine with. But this probably isn't enough to last 4 days. We'll see what happens. I am going to pause when the drought starts and unpause... Wait. Okay, unpause when the drought ends. That is what we need to be doing. So, let's see. Just manually pause those guys. Yeah, so now these trees are all drying out. But the droughts in normal are not going to be long enough, ever, to actually kill any of these trees, so long as the water actually flows around here, which is something we're going to have to try and do our best at ensuring happens. But hey, look at this. That's all done, which is fantastic. It means we can get rid of these paths here. As long as we don't demolish the dam by mistake, which would be honestly kind of funny. But I would get really, really irritated, and I'd like to avoid that if at all possible. But now that we're here, this one probably... I guess it doesn't matter when this gets built. But having all of this done before the next thing comes in would be very, very nice. I don't think they're going to get that accomplished. We'll see. I believe our hauler friends will be able to take care of most things on the home front here. Yep, and there's all of our water gone. So we have 2.5 days. Potatoes are going to die. So let's prioritize action, harvest potatoes. And the carrots, don't really care about them. We gotta protect our potatoes. And we'll actually prioritize the construction of the grill and make sure those guys can do all of their grilling. Never deprive a man of his ability to grill. Or a beaver, I guess, in this context. So these potatoes, I think these are the only two that are remaining to be harvested that were fully grown. Yeah, they're gonna die unless they can pick them up, and it looks like they're gonna save them, which is nice. Alright, so the grill will be able to immediately start, well, grilling. Looking good. Harvesting, there's nothing else to harvest, so now these guys can just kind of chill. Not really much else going on. So we might as well reopen our lumber mill, get some more planks made up, although we're not really using them at this exact moment. Yes, these guys are not going to be supplying construction, of course. I don't know why I always think that they do, but they don't. We need to build builders instead. Another thing we can get into once we start accumulating a little bit more in the way of logs are those decorative dam pieces that we have. We haven't really got into much at all with that, but there is a benefit in our well-being. I believe it's called a beautiful dam. Yes, under aesthetics. And if we use our dam decoration pieces, then the beavers will of course have access to all of that. And we also have decoration blocks. All of these have to be researched. But there's a lot that we can get into. And I think we could make some really cool stuff. I just don't want to promise too much before I'm confident I can build things, but I think we might be able to make some pretty cool looking stuff. Or at the very least, a little bit more interesting than our Iron Teeth efficiency min-maxed stuff. That drought's almost over anyway. It's normal mode. We don't have to stress out about the droughts. But it looks like our levees here are going to be finished. And then this will be in place as well. So what's going to happen when the water comes in? This is a pretty large, wide little river here. And the water is going to come out of here. And of course, it's going to want to come through this area, which we are going to maybe want to dam next. But if it can't go out here, can't go out here, and can't go out here, it's going to want to come through here and fill up our little lagoon. Or it's going to want to come around here and then exit the map. So we are going to want to dam this off. But I wanted to make sure that this was finished and this was finished. Now for water to get back around to this other side is going to be a bit more of an ask because of the elevation drop off over here. This is height 1, this is height 2. So what we really should be doing is probably putting a dam in over here to try and force water to kind of equalize around. So that could be the next thing that we're looking at doing here. So we'll think about doing that with a staircase right here. I think we'll leave one spot. Yep, here comes the water back again. So we'll, oh, come on, screenshot thing. So in order to make this happen, we're going to want to come on down this way. And then we'll have to put in some sort of a staircase to get down here. And then actually build this up by at least 3 blocks. Again, that is not our primary priority here. We obviously want all of this to be taken care of, but look at this. This is working. The water is actually spreading around here further than it was before. It might actually reach all the way around because it stopped probably right around here before, I think, if I am correct. And I'm going to go ahead and open this. Let the water come back inside. Switch this back to planting mode. And they're out of potatoes because they already grilled all of them. And I guess everybody ate all the potatoes. So that is something we need to be aware of, is the fact that we are about double the size population-wise from the beginning of the episode. Not quite, but we're getting there. And we're going to need to make sure we're managing our farm effectively. We're going to need to probably build another one as well. This is all good to go. They're in the process of taking this. And look how high the water is here. Once this is actually built, this is going to be great. We're going to have this pretty much completely full. We might have to put in a dam piece here. We'll see. And then we can think about coming over this way and damming this up to make sure that this stays reasonably high. For right now, though, everything's looking very, very good. And we can think about expanding our farming, which now that this is no longer covered in these birch trees, I think would make a great spot for a second farm. And a second little housing hub. So let's see. Efficient farmhouse. If we place this in a good location here, it seems like it's not really going to matter. So let's put it right here in this kind of corner area. And I'm not going to worry about growing carrots. Let's grow some potatoes. Those seem to be much better usage of land. So if we have all of this be potatoes, and remember, this is going to retain water here, so these shouldn't ever dry out. We have all of this focused on potatoes. These guys should be able to accomplish a whole lot of good stuff here. And I think we'll go ahead and put in a medium warehouse just for our potato-y friends here. Probably should have put this on top, but that's not very aesthetically pleasing. Well, neither is a lot of this, honestly, but we're going to get there, folks. Just trust me. Give me some time to get everything up to par on our logistics and supply stuff, and I think we'll be very, very happy with the results. So that being said, let's just kind of shove this back on the corner here. I don't need that there. We will, however, need a grill. We'll put that right next to the farmhouse. Nice and easy grilled potatoes. We should see chestnuts start to pop up on the trees here in the next couple of days. Some of them already have them, actually, and our beavers can start... well, they can't eat the raw chestnuts. They have to be grilled, which this building is going to call roasted. Or no, it's grilled chestnuts. Why was I thinking it was roasted? Anyway, we don't have any potatoes harvested right now for eating, so we're going to get them grilling those up so our beavers can take advantage of that, because we are out of food. There goes our well-being up. Not to worry, we'll have some carrots in a couple of days. Maybe one day we'll have some carrots. And we do have sunflower seeds coming in a reasonable amount of time. Blueberries, most of these are still growing. But we do have some right here that we can go ahead and take advantage of. Assuming they construct all of our dam pieces here. We are out of trees to harvest, aren't we? Alright, so maybe I was a little dumb in how I have this set up. Maybe. Well, I'm going to stick that right there. And then I think that should work okay. Let's see if this is going to let me get... Oh, okay, I can get a pretty good amount of pine trees. So we'll just mark all of this for cutting. Probably should have done this a long time ago. But for right now, we're going to have to just kind of live with that. There's so much construction going on that we can't actually use because we don't have enough wood. So if I come over here, okay, so that's actually going to get us most of the way there. I'll stick that guy right there at the end. And lower the priority in the lumberjack flags, even though we have 5 extra beavers. Yeah, get these guys in here post haste to cut some trees down. Well, they'll make it happen. I'm not worried about it. This still says it's unreachable because we don't have the required materials, and that's just because of the logs, pretty much. Now, what was, one of these guys was coming over here. We don't have a gatherer flag. So what were they doing with the blue? Okay, what are you doing? Okay, you're a little beaver just walking around looking at stuff. All right. Well, I mean, that's allowed. So we should see them coming in here pretty quickly to come and grab that stuff. Yeah, we're going to need to get some additional tree growth happening here. Oh, okay, no, these are about to mature. So what we'll do is we'll keep planting some more trees up here. Plant another 2 rows of pines, and then I think we're going to want to start doing maples. Because those can be harvested for food as well, or at least the syrup can, and you can turn them into some delicious pastries in the bakery, which we haven't unlocked yet. But we'll give our foresters something to do, plant some additional trees, get those things rocking and rolling. These pine seedlings, of course, are going to be replaced most likely with maples. We'll probably do some oaks as well, but it was about time we took advantage of the rest of this wood. So we got plenty to be doing here. Alright, so this farmhouse probably should have been built first, but you know how this goes. There's just a severe lack of stuff that's been done here. We're working on it. We're working on it. This guy has about 1 day left before he's going to be all finished. But fortunately, we have the opportunity to grow some chestnuts. And actually right now probably should switch over to potatoes because we do have 33 of those that can be baked, grilled, what have you. This building can actually hold 120 grilled potatoes. I'd forgotten because I was thinking, oh, I need to build a bunch of storage for this. No. No, we'll be okay. We'll be alright. We haven't gotten that drought warning yet either, so if we can keep building up a little bit of food storage, we'll be much better off. Now, though, we should see them start to build the rest of this, get this farmhouse ready to go. We'll give these guys a job planting even more potatoes. It's just a matter of time. Early game is rarely the most exciting thing in terms of development, but hey, look at this. We already have our water way up. Yeah, it is actually looking great over here. Very, very good. We probably don't actually need to put a dam here right now, which is excellent. I was kind of concerned that that was going to be a problem, but right now the water levels are great. The only concern I'm going to have, of course, is when the drought comes. But that is why we built this, after all. We have good water storage. We need more, but we can't do gears quite yet. We haven't gotten that all figured out. And we're also going to need to figure out a place to build a channel for our water wheels, and then eventually when we get into windmills and all that other stuff. Right now the water flow rate is not super in our favor, but we'll get through it. We have a spot right here that might actually be good, but it's still a bit far away from everything else we have going on. So as we keep expanding the colony this way beyond just a farmhouse and a lodge for some beavers to sleep in, then that will be maybe an option for us. But I still think the best overall for a industrial area is going to be harnessing this kind of water flow. Now, a lot of you who have been around for a while in the Timberborn space are going to remember Skystorm's videos, and he's got one that shows you how to fold water into a thin channel to get a whole bunch of power out of it. And we're going to try and do that in this general area, but that is way, way off in the future. Right now we just have to focus on keeping our supply of food, water, and wood properly, well, supplied. And I think we should be okay on food now that we have all these potatoes that are going to be growing over here. Speaking of, we need to have this set to be storage either for raw potatoes or grilled potatoes. Let's make it for raw potatoes, because the grilled potatoes can store themselves in, well, the grill. And it'll hold 120 and this will hold 200, so I think that is going to be a good starting point for us. And this guy is cutting down trees. Excellent, very good. Water level here is extremely high, which is what we want to see. I'm going to go ahead and plant some more sunflowers here because these 8 spaces are just kind of sitting there mocking me. In terms of jobs, I think we're in a pretty good spot, but we could stand to have some more beavers. So why don't we continue to kind of expand this area? And again, this is not going to be the most beautiful stuff you've ever seen. We're going to get there. We're going to make some pretty nice looking stuff, but for right now, we just kind of need to get things off the ground ready to go. The evolution of aesthetic design will come in time, because we're going to have some pretty robust storage by the time all's said and done. Just gotta have a little bit of patience for these first several episodes. Now, I think we actually have enough beavers for us to start doing a little bit more in the way of industrialization here. So let's think about putting in a gear workshop. It's going to take a lot more power than we are currently generating, so we are going to need to take advantage of some of our water flow here. Unfortunately, there's not really a great spot to do that. Short of right here would probably be great, actually, but we don't have the infrastructure to support building water wheels here yet. So as much as I dislike them, the power wheels are probably going to have to be the way to go for the time being. So we'll just go ahead and stick that guy right there. Research the gear workshop. Plop it in that spot. And build ourselves another path. Now don't worry, this isn't going to stay here. It's just one of those things we got to do right now because we have the need for some gears, and we don't really have anywhere else to do that at this exact moment. Now they don't have potatoes because the potatoes haven't grown. Is there anything else? This guy could be growing chestnuts, so we'll switch him over to that. It's going to get everything all stocked up. Should be nice, should be good to go. But I think long term this needs to be the potato grill, and then this one over here could actually become the chestnut grill. Because the potatoes are all going to get shoved over here anyway because of the raw storage. And there is that drought timer coming in once again. We shouldn't have any problems taking care of the rest of this stuff. It just might take us a little bit of time. Now, water storage for 30 beavers on normal difficulty, we should be more than fine for a 4, 5, 6 day drought with 300. They are going to keep pumping, which is good. I really want to build more storage, but I'm going to do my best not to have just a ton of these little things floating around the map. I want to build a couple of big ones, or larger ones. I guess they're medium? Yeah, medium tanks. And this guy's just kind of running, I guess, because he's bored. There we go. Alright. But I am very pleased with how this is looking. Having that reservoir there is going to be very, very nice. Excellent stuff. These are getting a little closer. The closest ones are about 85%. So we should be looking pretty good here in just a moment. These are set to potatoes. The actual output of this is pretty much full. I was not expecting that at all. So let's give them a little warehouse for the grilled potatoes. And by a little, I mean a medium warehouse. Yeah, but they'll just start dragging those out of there. Looking good, looking good. I'm going to turn him over to chestnuts. And this guy over to potatoes. Now that the actual potatoes are being stored here, haulers will take care of getting all of the other bits and pieces out of the incorrect ones and into the correct ones. Now our potato harvest is starting to come in here, so we want to make sure that pipeline is open, ready to go. I do wonder, though, about the 17 chestnuts in here. Now, if I prioritize this building by haulers, are they going to come grab all those? Or do I have to turn it back over to chestnuts? Something tells me maybe. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see what happens, I guess. Yeah, there's still 17 chestnuts in there. And over here... Huh, they don't have any potatoes hanging out, so maybe I'm just insane. That's probably the better explanation. Though I do wonder why. Maybe it's because I don't have any actual storage for chestnuts. That also is very likely what's going on. Okay, so this can be storage for raw chestnuts. That ought to help get everything evacuated correctly, and it's pretty close. 6-day drought, huh? Okay, so let's raise our floodgate. Yeah, 6 days with 32 beavers. 241 water stored is not really ideal. But we'll make do. Should be mostly okay. Not the end of the world. If we have to, we can always just start pumping out of these other areas. Yeah, our wood supply is not as robust as I would like. But I think that's just because a lot of this hasn't grown quite yet. And it won't continue to grow during this drought either. Well, yeah, actually none of this is going to be growing during the drought, which is why we want to have all of this all blocked off, but we don't have the resources to do that right now. That's definitely going to be a next episode thing. But for right now, we're looking mostly okay, except our water is depleting a lot faster than I had originally hoped. We might have to dig into our emergency strategic reserve. And by that I mean our little lakes right here. So for us to do that, we're going to have to unplant some potatoes. So I'm going to take, I believe, this would probably do the least amount of damage to unplant those. What side is the entrance on? Right there? Okay. Yeah, let's just unplant this. They'll come harvest these, and then I will build us a water pump right here on the corner. It's going to take them a while to get there, so again, we're not in any sort of rush. Things are going perfectly fine. We're playing on normal mode. We don't have to stress out about stuff. Consumption's down. The rate of evaporation, I don't think, is changed. So we probably don't need to worry about that. But I think we're in a pretty decent position. We just got to get all of these potatoes harvested. That's what takes time. So we have almost 1,000 science, so why don't we take a little bit of time here, unlock some of these basic well-being things like the shrine, put one of those here to start fulfilling some spiritual needs, and then think about the rest of this stuff. Now the frog statue, I know we're all clamoring for the frog statue, but that again does have metal blocks and the treated planks that we do not have access to currently. So unfortunately we can't do anything with that. Let's see, do we have any injured beavers? No, we do not. So let's go into some aesthetics. Let's unlock shrubs. It's a pretty easy one. Shrub right here probably would be perfectly fine. Roofs are going to be a big boost for us because our buildings are so small that we can put them on pretty much everything and have all of our beavers getting a nice bonus while they sleep. Look at that, we're already up to 11. That is nice. That's good stuff. We'll just stick those guys right there, and then every beaver while they sleep will have a nice, attractive thatched roof cottage in which to lay themselves to rest, at least for the night. Yeah, we got to get more water stored up than this, though. That's not working. We got 30 left, and we have 3 days. So let's expedite the harvesting of these potatoes, friends, because we're gonna have some pretty thirsty beavers here in a little bit. That is not gonna bode well for us in the future here. That is one thing you have to be careful with the folktales, is that they will fill all of your beds pretty quickly. So if you're not prepared, you can easily get a run on your food and your water that is going to be very difficult to come back from unless you plan ahead, which I think we're starting to do a little bit of a better job at. All right, somebody come get this last potato so I can put this thing in. We're out of water. Come on now. Anybody? Somebody come get this potato. I swear. Come on. There you go. Good job. All right, now build this immediately. And somebody come man this thing, because we got some thirsty beavers here. We don't have any logs. How in the world did that happen? We can't harvest any of these? All right, let's pause. Some crisis management. This guy cannot reach trees back here. How many logs do I need? 12. Okay, so probably not the best idea for recovering log pieces, but if I get rid of these 2 levees, that's 9 and that's 9, and I think I can cheese this. There we go. All right, so that's 18 logs. They can come gather those immediately and start building the water pump here. There we go. That's gonna probably, hopefully, save our 16 dehydrated beavers. And if it doesn't, then, well, I win the Idiot of the Week award, which I probably have already been awarded at this point. Man, these thirsty beavers really kicking my butt here. Come on now. Let's come finish this thing. They are going to start dying of dehydration, and I'm going to be mad. On normal mode. That's embarrassing. Alright, come finish this thing. Alright. You better stop that. Yeah, pump your water, stop being dehydrated, and people will hopefully be all good to go. Drought's almost over anyway. But the last thing we -9 for thirst. I forgot how severe the penalties were for a lot of this stuff. Alright, well. At least they're going to have the ability to get their thirst quenched. That's a good thing we put that in there. I guess should have maybe done a little bit more planning. But I digress. At least we have potatoes. We're fine on food. We're doing very well on food, actually. Which is very, very nice to see. And we do have 10, got 10 gears. So I'll tell you what, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to unbuild these 4, and we're going to unlock the medium tank, and then I'm going to stick this guy right here. They can start building with the gears they already have, and then start making more. Drought's over. So they can go back to work in their water pumps over here that probably aren't going to be pumping any water for a while. But the water will come back with a quickness, and we should see our well-being score skyrocket as a result. Yeah, that's one thing we're really going to need to focus on next episode, is making sure that these are locked off. But we don't have the wooden resources at this exact moment to make sure that that's a thing. So we really need to be branching out in the future. Branching out. Get it? To make sure that we get all of these different tree-related needs taken care of. Fortunately, it's not anything that's going to be super impossible to deal with. We'll just have to be a little bit more intentional, I guess we could say, with what we're doing and how we're spending our time and our resources. But we can go ahead and connect these up with a path so we can start harvesting this wood, and that, of course, will get us closer over here to getting that stuff figured out. So I'm going to put in a couple of our lumberjack flags. So we are going to have some extra beavers. Mark all of these for harvesting. Just do the whole island, because why not? Well, at least where the trees are. We can do that. I don't think we're going to really care about the berries that much, but we'll leave them in place in case we need them. And later we'll probably be building on this, let's be honest. Alright, that's looking good. Let's lower our floodgate. I said lower the floodgate, thank you. Let this refill just a tiny bit. Trees are back to growing mode. Our forester should be planting some more trees whenever he gets around to it. And our beavers are going to be thirsty for a while, because it's going to take some time to catch back up. But don't think it's hopeless quite yet. Now, one problem we definitely have is we don't have any logs to turn into planks, so we can't build stairs. So we're gonna have to get a little creative here. So I'm gonna need to move a lumberjack flag over here to try and take advantage of the additional space. I think this is all marked. Yeah, they're gonna take their sweet time. Let's get rid of that guy. Come on over here, harvest some logs. Let's get this thing going. Because I really want to make sure that this medium tank is complete before we have the next drought in, I don't know, 10 in-game days. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a struggle in most things at the beginning of the game just because of how you have to kind of hop between different types of production. But hey, at least we have food super figured out. We're good on food. We are looking fantastic, in fact. The water thing, not so much. We're working on it. At least we have plenty of science, so that's nice. I'm not going to worry about the grist mill just yet, because we're not going to get into wheat for a while. And the aquatic farmhouse, I think, is going to require a little bit more of a calculated approach. That's why I wanted to build this, to keep water in here, to grow some aquatic stuff in. But I've got to figure out where I can put the thing. Because I believe it is, yeah, it's got kind of a, oh, okay, that's actually not a bad spot to stick it. The only problem now is going to be having the platforms built, because we don't have a whole lot of those. But putting that right there probably is about the best possible place for it. Yeah, there's our well-being of 13. Yeah, so we're looking pretty good on most of this stuff that we've actually started getting into now. Could put another shrine on the other side of our area here. I think that is going to look pretty good. I know when we're planting the aquatic plants, we're not going to want this path here. So we're probably just going to need to get rid of that entirely. I think we're not going to need to have this other stuff here. And I don't want to zigzag it because that's not a very interesting, aesthetically pleasing, or efficient path structure. So yeah, let's, well, this isn't built yet, so we don't really have to worry about it. But we will get to that point. Oh, we did not mark this to be water. Let's do that. Look at that. Look at us go. We're making moves here. I do want to replace these four as well, but we don't have enough gears to make that even worth considering at this exact moment. It would be very cool, though, if we could have our aquatic farmhouse all good to go. We just need to get everything else done here. Now, if we keep the water flowing through here, we could actually put a water wheel. Would probably actually work really well. Now, if I have this here, have the other one sit up right there. Let's, I kind of want to just put the first one here because it would be such a guaranteed high flow rate. Okay, if it's actually high enough, I think that should be fine. Now, if this ends up working out, then we can go ahead and get rid of our power wheels and move these and start planting more trees, which is stuff we should be doing in the first place, should have probably always done. We'll see just how fast this is going to turn because we've kind of created a nice choke point here. And I'm not worried about this not filling up with the levees gone here because, well, it's already pretty much 2/3 full. I don't think we need to be super concerned about it. They're just about done with this. They just need to come in and put the finishing touches on it. Then everything will be A-okay. So we'll see what they're up to here on day 7. Someone comes and finishes this. Oh yeah, that's what I want to see. Rated for 90 gives us 290. That is science, friends. Love to see that. Alright, so let's do ourselves a thing here. There we go. There we go. Let's plant some more trees. Get this guy something to do. Now, pines. I think we still want to use pines for their fast-ish growing traits. Put in some more maples up here. And then we want to put in oaks. We want a lot of oaks. So I'm actually going to plant all of this right here as oak trees. Put our pathway coming out this way because we probably are eventually going to want to come out here. Yeah, this guy's going to have plenty to do. Except why? Oh, we have a lot of kits. That's why. Okay, well, that's going to become an interesting problem here in a second. Okay, 292. Let's go ahead and put these things back in here. We got a lumber mill and a gear workshop. Obviously, that's not enough for what we want to be doing, but it's what we already had. And I think it's what we can reasonably handle right now in terms of occupying slots. Plus, we don't have to have beavers running around in wheels, which is always good news. And as far as stockpiling logs, I think now that we're done with this, we might be able to justify coming out here and putting levees in. Although I know it's not going to get finished. So is that 5? Oh, come on. That's also 5. We'll put our dam pieces here. The goal, of course, is to have 20, at least 20 of these dam pieces to correspond to our 20 source blocks. They don't all have to be over here, but I want to make sure that we don't ever flood, because that is a very annoying thing to have to deal with, constant flooding. We had some issues with that in the past. I will do that like so, and then I don't think we need to worry about water just straight up falling off the map here quite yet, but we do want to make sure we're keeping that in mind. So let's bring this out here. I think that should all be in range. No? Is that really all out of range? Okay. Now that's all in range. Now over here is going to be another one of those really long journeys that we'll just kind of have to deal with. Let our beaver builders tolerate. So they're, I'm sure, going to get to work on this, and it's going to be a whole thing. Which piece are they building first? Because I don't see any of these logs getting... Okay, there they go. Yeah, that's not going to be done probably this episode, but it's good to get that started at the very least and make sure that this is going to retain enough water for us to have a viable community down here. Alright, so we're back at it making planks again. And, hey, look at this, aquatic farmhouse. Let's pause real quick and get these guys all set up, good to go. Let's demolish our pathways under here. We'll leave those stairs just so that's accessible on either side in case we ever want to put another house here. But cattails, let's see what goes in the grill. We have a grilled spatterdock. The cattails require cattail flour, which we, well, I guess we could unlock. We have plenty of science. The Dutch windmill takes 250. The gristmill takes 180. We do have the power to take care of the gristmill. This actually is more expensive to build and more expensive science-wise. Same functionality, but this windmill is dependent on the winds. I really like how the Dutch windmill looks, so that would be my personal preference. I'm going to go ahead and unlock that. And I'm going to actually build one of these right here. Now, again, we're going to pretty much completely tear this whole thing out and redo it once we're a little bit more established. But for the time being, it's nice to have that next to the farms. And now we have to start planting some other stuff. I don't remember what the ideal ratio is as far as productivity for an aquatic farmhouse. but we should keep in mind that they were going to radius from the front door. So if we planted all of this section as one crop and this section as another crop, they're probably never going to get to this. So what we'll do instead is we'll do stripes. We'll do cattails. Just call that also a cattail. Do spatterdock. Cattails again. Spatterdock again. And we don't need to alternate. I'm just showing you what that was going to look like. And that way, I think we want more cattails than we do spatterdock. I think that's what it ends up being. Maybe it's the reverse of that. I'm not sure. We can always adjust, right? But as of right now, actually, yeah, I'm gonna turn this into spatterdock. I'm gonna turn this guy into a single piece of spatterdock. So theoretically, this should be first, then this one, and then this one, this one, this one, and so forth. Just on and on and on and on and on. But now they're going to be good to go. And of course, we can always prioritize one if we decide that's what we want to do. But we'll let them get to it. Okay, so it's the opposite direction of what I was thinking. But it is there. And they're going to take their sweet time building this Dutch windmill, I just know. Because we have to process all of our wood. We don't have enough planks to make the gear workshop that we already destroyed. Which actually are... Oh, because we don't have storage. That's what the problem is. See, all these things that you don't think of when you first start a new series in a different thing than what you're used to. So let's put in some small piles here behind the windmill, which I'm very thankful does not have insane collision mesh. And we'll actually put in some space for planks, and then another one for logs, just right there. We are going to need storage for gears as well, which we can just kind of clip into the windmill, I guess. And we'll put gears there. Alright, and that's, of course, going to take some time to build, but the gear workshop is up and running. Are they actually... Wow, okay, they're actually making some progress there. It's not going to be done in time for this next drought. So let's not allow them to focus too heavily on it. And instead, have them build our storages here. Now, this Dutch windmill is going to take quite a while to build because we have to make all the gears. But if we can at least make the storage for this stuff, then that should go a lot faster. And stuff is going to look really, really good as a result. We still have five empty ones because now we have these beavers dying of old age, which means it's probably about time to expand our housing, which we'll go ahead and do here. I think I want to have this come around the back side, which means getting rid of these dandelions, or at least two of them. And then on this back side here, we can also put some well-being stuff, like a shrine. I think we can go ahead and get a medical bed, even though we don't have a healer yet. That will still be useful for them to get into. And a shower is going to be nice. I know there's a subgroup of you guys who are strangely invested in building showers. I don't really understand the whole deal with that, but nonetheless, we'll put a shower right here so our beavers can cool off and relax after a sweaty day at the lumber mill and or gear workshop. There we go. Stuff is looking good. We've got 3 days to the next drought. And then I believe that is where we will end today's episode. Should be nice, about an hour and 16 minutes or so by the time this is all taken care of. Yeah, that is about where we're at here. Dutch windmill is actually coming along a lot faster than I thought it would. I don't think, however, that we'll have the ability to really do too much processing with it, but I will go ahead and make cattail flour. Because we haven't started growing wheat yet. We will soon. But I want to make sure we have the ability to process it before I get too deep into that. We also need enough beavers to have a second farmhouse in place, I think, to appropriately manage the wheat. And it does take 10 days to grow, so I could plant it now, maybe, I guess, but I don't think that's in our best interest. But wow, look at how much they've already built over here. I did not think they'd be able to get that done. Foolish me. I like that this is making almost 300 horsepower Hewlett Packard's Harry Potter's high power hydrogen peroxide, whatever. If you have your own favorite meaning for what HP stands for, drop it down below in the comments. I might use it in a future episode, as long as it's not inappropriate. So don't get nasty on me here. Yeah, food-wise, we're looking good. Water's looking good. I was going to build another medium tank, but I don't think I could finish it before the drought starts. Fortunately, we do have almost 500 storage here. And we do have this guy, this water pump, that will be able to continue operating during the drought. And this should not ever run dry during a regular, normal difficulty playthrough. Unless we just put 2 or 3 more pumps in, then it might actually go dry, depending on how long the drought is. Should be probably about 7 days-ish, I think, at this point. But yeah, we got beavers dying of old age that really need to be replaced. We need a much higher buffer, which is why I was kind of hoping they would get to this. But I think they're too busy building that dam over there. We don't really need them to be building. So I guess we'll force them to come on over here, build some lodges, and abandon their pipe dreams. Although this is going to be very, very nice to have these in place once everything is all good to go. Provided, of course, that the flow with these water wheels is still going to work. We might have to actually leave this one completely open. I'm not sure. I'm actually going to leave that one middle thing open. So I think we're going to have some sort of exit on this side of the map that ideally should be into the direct path of that water wheel. We'll see. Yeah, here is the start of the drought. It's 5 days. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll just finish this one since it's a short drought, and then beginning of cycle 6, we'll have to have that come back on Monday or Tuesday of next week, depending on how I'm feeling, but most likely Tuesday. I guess that is kind of the less than ideal side of also forgetting to shut this, so these plants are almost certainly going to die. Yeah, not my brightest moment. We'll definitely say that. Now, the bad part about this being powered by a water wheel is that when the water stops, the wheel stops, which would be a fantastic opportunity to test out these flywheels. And we probably should have done that before the before the drought started. Let's see, we got a small flywheel, we got a medium. Okay, we can't do that one anyway. 1 by 1 by 1, 2000 HPH. Let's, you know what? Let's do that, actually. So if we have this just connected into the side of the building, it should, I think, just store power, kind of like a spring, or maybe it stores momentum. Well, the flywheel in real life does store energy as momentum by virtue of being a very heavy thing like a stone or a slab of metal that just spins really, really fast. So you have your rotational inertia preserved. But, yeah, I'm interested to see how that works in terms of energy storage, or maybe they just wanted to name it that because they thought it was cool. I don't know. But let's get these guys connected here. And then I think, I mean, not that it matters, because this is obviously not going to be usable until the drought's over anyway. But it is an interesting idea. It is cool. Wow, look how much of this they've got done. So they might actually finish this. Don't tell me they harvested all of these pine trees. Oh, there's nobody working here. That was a mistake. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna have a wood crash here in a little bit because I didn't have anybody replanting the trees. Well, at least some of these are oaks, so we'll be able to harvest on them for a while. What I am worried about, though, is our aquatic farms. Oh, that's going to evaporate really soon. Oh, it's gone. Oh, no. All right. Harvest immediately. Spatterdock is not going to survive. Cattails will, so let's harvest the cattails. Oh, that makes me so upset. I'm going to have to replant them again. Oh, I really need to put in a water dump, and I'm going to put it right here, I'm pretty sure. Oh, man, that is demoralizing. That's absolutely demoralizing. Oh, I can't research it because I don't have enough science. Oh, we have too many jobs open. That's rough. That is, yeah, it's, not ideal. Not to mention cattail flour. I don't have any storage for it. Oh, that has to be cooked in a bakery, which I also have to research, which I can't currently research. So let's make ourselves a oh boy, make ourselves a storage here for some cattail flour. That's cattail crackers, cattail roots, cattail flour. Yeah, you can go in there. Oh man, that actually let's rotate this. I want to put 2 of these here. This one can be for cattail roots. This one could be for cattail flour. And if we can get them back in the inventors here, which currently seems unlikely because of how many jobs we've got going. Man, I am just not a happy camper about this. Not at all. And our potatoes dying, but I mean, we have tons stored already, so I think we're fine. Could definitely be worse. And we also have these. We're going to use all these potatoes in time, so don't you worry about that. Oh, now they're building this stuff. I thought they were going to take care of all this other building first. I guess I didn't adequately have everything set up. 8 gears. I don't have 8 gears, so I'm not going to be able to have our flywheel until our gear workshop is up and running. Which means I'm going to have to put in a power wheel if I want that, or we just wait. Oh, I hate waiting. I really do not like waiting for this kind of stuff. Hey, at least that's done. I guess I can go ahead and get rid of these paths because they are kind of distracting. We might build more over there at a later date, but for right now, that's fine. Do I want to tempt it? No, I don't think I do. At any rate, drought's over, which means that this episode has come to an end. But look at this. We did a pretty decent expansion here in episode 2. Got this area kind of built out a little bit more. Regrettably forgot to get into the flywheels and everything a little earlier, but I'm so glad there's an alternative to gravity batteries, because the gravity batteries are infuriating to work with on a flat map. This stores only 2,000, but you don't have to build super high. It doesn't take any metal, and if you have a couple of these, then it actually would be enough for a smaller industrial area for a short drought, which is what we have. So I'm thinking that this is going to end up being quite nice once everything's taken care of. I am going to go ahead and lower that back down to 0 just so we can get some water back in here and they can replant all these plants. Make sure this is unplanted, which it is. Yeah, I kind of fumbled the bag a little bit on some of this stuff, including right here. This guy still has not been able to harvest all these trees. So I'm going to just real quick... I don't want to put that there. Get out of here. I want to see just how much I can actually harvest of this. It looks like I can almost... I'll do that. Move this guy all the way around here. Get rid of that guy. This is pretty far to walk to harvest trees, but I do want to make sure we get all of those. And yeah. Get this guy back in place. Get water back in place, and we'll be in a much better spot. Man, this... Okay, we're in 1 times speed. That's why this has taken so long. But I did say we'd end it on the first day. So we'll speed this back up so we can at least look at something interesting while we're in the process of ending today's episode. But yeah, good stuff. Lots accomplished. A little bit of a longer episode for those of you who like those, which I think at this point is just about everybody. But yeah, I appreciate you being here. We do have other stuff we haven't gotten into, including, I know I mentioned this in the Discord server, the custom names list mod that I have, which is going to be populated with the names of the beard boosters. So, segue to that. Thanks, beard boosters, for being here and supporting me and all of the fun stuff that we have going on here. Their support really is absolutely crucial to making sure I can keep doing this stuff with all the other fun and challenges all of us have in our lives. I've got my own, and it's definitely a very high priority for me to be able to do these videos, but it's so much easier to do this when I know I have people that are providing a little bit of extra money to make the time a little bit more valuable that I spend doing this stuff. So don't worry, we're not in any danger of anything going away, but it really, really helps me out, and I'm very, very grateful for those people. So if you want to have anything to do with that, there's information in the description, but please do not ever feel obligated to do any of that stuff. I'm just very thankful that you're here and that you've chosen to spend a little bit of time with me today playing this fantastic game. So again, the custom beaver names will be in next episode and on the live stream on Saturday. I just forgot to set that mod up before I started recording today, but it will be taken care of, and we're gonna have all sorts of fun with everything else. Like, look how good the water and the shadows look with the rotating sun mod. It's just fantastic. So many great mods, and I'm really glad that we can finally have the opportunity to enjoy those again. And like, look, our flywheel guy's moving, storing all of its power up, and as soon as that's done, then we'll be good to go. Yeah, so I'll stick that guy right next to it because there's not really anything else you can put there. But yeah, that is gonna do it for today. Thanks again. I really appreciate you. If you haven't already, check out the season finale of our Kingdoms Reborn that went up yesterday. It was a whole lot of fun. We pretty much conquered the entirety of the map with our, not technically Gundams, but definitely Gundams over there in our Japan faction-inspired playthrough. So that's all sorts of good fun. We'll have more Ostriv tomorrow and then more live streams this weekend. And lots of other fun stuff in the works. So again, thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. And I hope whatever you're doing, you stay safe and have fun. And we'll see you back in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.